I want to talk about something right away that happened on our program last night. I got to come clean about this. Last night we did a comedy bit called NCAA Mascots. And it was a fun little comedy bit where we showed our idea for different NCAA mascots. We had a problem with one of the mascots. Take a look and then I'll explain. This next mascot is sexy, and she knows it. It's the FSU Webcam Manatee. Penders on HornyManatee.com. Okay, so at the end of the sketch, this wasn't in the script or anything. I was just, I'm just talking, just ad-libbing. And at the end, I just ad-libbed and I said, Pender is on HornyManatee.com. Okay, I just happened to say that. Didn't think anything about it, right? Just said it and was like, oh, HornyManatee.com. We moved on and did, our 10,000th show. I wasn't thinking anything about it. After the show, I get a call from NBC Standards, which happens from, time to time, usually when I just go off on like a foul-mouthed tirade on the program. This time, I got a call from Standards. True story. They told me, if I mention a web address that does not exist, even if I'm kidding around, if I mention a web address that does not exist, we legally have to buy the rights to that website. I had no idea. It sounds crazy, but that is 100% true if you're on television. I didn't know this. If you're on television and you're in a position of authority, which I didn't know I was, and you mention a website, it has to exist or you're in a lot of trouble. So, last night, after the show, for $159, NBC became the proud owner for 10 years of www.hornymanatee.com. That's true. Yeah. This is all true. This is all true. I'm not making any of this up. So we acted quickly. We bought www.hornymanatee.com. And then we decided that since we own the site, we might as well really build it, okay? There's no law that you have to build it, but we don't like to waste here at the show. So very quickly, late last night and early this morning, we built the site. Here is the homepage. This is all real. HornyManatee.com homepage. Here's a solo action page right there. Then we put in a Manatee on Manatee page. There's a Man on Manatee page. There's a fetish page. And, of course, there's a live webcam that we put in there, and we can show that right now. That's great. So, sorry. This is not our fault. We would not have continued any of this had not the law intervened. I am complying with the law. I'm a very upstanding citizen. So if you have any amateur horny manatee pictures or stories, send them to Conan at hornymanatee.com. Let's get this thing going. That's weird. That's good. I think it's obvious to most people that watch this show with any kind of regularity that I really love my job. I have a good time doing this show. I enjoy myself. One of the things I enjoy the most, besides getting to do things like a Horny Manatee sketch, is I get to talk to so many fascinating people. When you think about it, it's true. Every night, a couple of guests come out, entertainers, athletes, politicians, fascinating people. The problem is they're never here long enough for me to really get to know them. They're here maybe 6, 7 minutes. I thank them, they leave, they won't speak to me again. I wanted to find out more about these celebrities, get more in depth, so I mailed out a questionnaire to America's Biggest Stars. I really did. A couple of weeks ago, I mailed out a questionnaire. I did it myself. It was pathetic. I was up all night, licked the envelopes, sent them in. A surprising number of famous people responded to the quiz. I didn't think they would, but a lot of them wrote back. Tonight, we're going to show you their answers in a segment we call Celebrity Survey. Celebrity Survey. That is weird. All right. I'm Brittany. Here's how the survey works. We asked 3 celebrities to complete a phrase. Our first phrase was, "I'll always remember 2006 as the year I stopped." Robin Williams wrote drinking. Charlie Sheen wrote gambling. Michael Richards wrote working. Decided to quit. Here's the next one. "I drink so I can..." Heather Locklear wrote, "Enjoy a night out with my girlfriends." Bruce Willis wrote, "Take the edge off after a busy day." Danny DeVito wrote, "Sit between Rosie O'Donnell and Barbara Walters on The View." The saying that keeps me going is, Kate Hudson wrote, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade." Tom Selleck wrote, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life." George W. Bush wrote, "The SpongeBob Marathon will be right back." Just likes the show. I'm with him on that one, actually. It's a good show. When Kelly Ripa said, "Who knows where Clay Aiken's hand has been," I thought, Rosie O'Donnell wrote, "She was making a homophobic remark." Regis Philbin wrote, "She was misinterpreted." Clay Aiken wrote, "Tom, Teddy, Frank, Tom again, Billy, and John." Just... Oh, we still on television? All right, here we go. HornyManatee.com. The hardest thing about divorce, is, Donald Trump wrote, "Explaining it to the kids." Brad Pitt wrote, "The prying media." Pam Anderson wrote, "Deciding which bathing suit to wear to the hearing." Ma'am, you enjoyed it enough for everybody. Thank you. Almost. When I pick up the phone and order Chinese, Gwyneth Paltrow wrote, "I ask about their vegetarian dishes." Jeff Goldblum wrote, "I make sure there's no MSG." Angelina Jolie wrote, "I specify a boy or a girl." I spend most of my spare time at... The Rock wrote, "The gym." Evangeline Lilly wrote, "The beach." Walter Cronkite wrote, HornyManatee.com. I consider my finest career moment to be... Hilary Swank wrote, "When I won my first Oscar for Boys Don't Cry." Chris Rock wrote, "When I was first hired on Saturday Night Live." Larry King wrote, "When I realized that by using a small stone wheel, we could transport the great rocks along the River Nile to build the Pharaoh's tomb." Oh. I like that one. I love Larry, but he's old. Maybe unnecessary for me to say that. My favorite board game is... Matt Dillon wrote Monopoly. Marcia Cross wrote Trivial Pursuit. Mike Tyson wrote Hit the Guy with the Board. My favorite time to make love is... Jessica Alba wrote Early in the Morning. Jennifer Love Hewitt wrote In the Middle of the Afternoon. Kirstie Alley wrote, When love becomes the word for pancakes. I've rarely been happier. And finally, when it comes to getting a picture taken, my best side is my... Tom Hanks wrote right side. Scarlett Johansson wrote left side. Britney Spears wrote vagina side. All right then, ladies and gentlemen.